What are we hitting?
Steering. Everywhere. Fun.
So there's a big surprise. I surprised Paul for Christmas. Good morning, Fab Rats. To come up. So my crew's down there working on what they can. I decided to come up here and help Paul with this because I want this out of his shop so we can start working on his crawler and his tow truck project. I'm pretty excited about both of those.
That's nice. So today we basically got to build a panhard bar. I have to chop this motor mount out and move it up because it contacts my top link. And then we can air the front shocks up and cut this thing in half.
For those of you that don't know, that's a big project. Like,
How's your breakfast?
eating pepper jack cheese, sour cream and onion, potato chips, peanuts, and a Coca-Cola. All right, so we're doing the track bar today. What you gonna hook it to and to?
So I got to build a mount that comes off the frame and out here like 3.5 inches so I can get the same length as my drag link. And then it's just going to have another pedestal.
Did I say drag link or track bar?
You said track bar, but I knew what you were talking about. And we're
You
gonna
said track bar. We're putting a track bar on this.
Yeah, roughly, it's a track bar. It's going to keep it from tracking side to side. So we're going to build another one of those right here. Should be relatively easy.
I came here for moral support.
Listen to this.
The compressor. I got the same thing going on in my shop.
It's pretty nice to not listen to it.
All right, so we got a nice poly there.
One of those. Probably one of those. Right there. Old Toyota steering stuff that squeaked too much.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
So it's gonna turn into panhard.
I'm just happy to be here, Michelle.
I'm happy to be here as well.
That's loud.
That is like not in very good shape.
Do you need some WD-40 on it?
I think I'm gonna need like a bigger. That's out. There we go. That seems like a really not a very good motor mount. Yeah, so that's what we were taking out. That.
They put the motor mounts in apparently at some point, and then they needed to raise the whole motor that far.
So they built shims. So we're unbuilding them.
There's Papa Dar. Yeah, he's in his work clothes.
I'm in the only clothes I can wear.
Dar,
Man, you're all
I gotta
busted up.
fix you.
Do ya?
We gotta fix you a little.
I left my hat home.
How you feeling today anyways, Dar? Tell everybody what happened.
I was working on a loader and I went to slip and I went to grab my arm and I tore my bicep. They went in and operated on it and lassoed it and pulled it back down and tied it up.
Papa Dar's got a pretty good excuse to not help anymore.
We're here, me and Paul were talking about how happy your gizzard's gonna be riding on these Ories instead of these leaf springs.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be perfect.
Where's that Smurf ladder right there?
Sing.
La 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 la.
So I'd say you can't
La 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 la
you
la.
can't get the Smurf ladder
La, la, la,
without
la.
singing.
Let's do this. Perfect. Is anything important hitting?
You're on the bump stop on this side.
Sweet! We did her, Dar. We are on the bump stop. Your balancer is not contacting.
That upper link's just barely touching.
Barely touching the motor mount. That's what we're dealing with. It's pretty dang tight everywhere. Balancer, we got clearance in there. So we're winning. Our plan was with this to make it as physically low as we could get it. Because Dar's old and he don't want to climb in something that's super tall. So full stretch.
That's how much track.
Well, by George, I think we've done it. Now I can build a panhard bar. Yeah, so we're gonna put another one of these on. A double one on this side, a single on that side. We'll put the tire rod behind. It'll steer right through here. So we don't have anything up here in the way. So he can run into whatever he desires.
Yeah. I know where that happened. It was over there by Red Cave. There was a big rock and I'd climb up on it and I was backing off and I slid off of it. I was gonna straighten it.
We're gonna redo it. It'll be new.
All right, so if you look straight across there,
There.
right there, that's
There's
where
the tie rod
the tie
will
rod's
go
going to connect to, right there.
And then it'll go to that side.
And it'll go across now. It's going to be coming straight out of here.
We've taken some time building some stuff so we could figure out how it works the best.
I know in my shop, I've done it enough times, I only have to do it a couple times to get it right.
Exactly. It's tight.
Where's
It's
your...
going to be really tight to the back of that, but that needs to be up, touching that bracket almost.
Okay.
And then this one will be up here.
I'm going to say
We need to get steering in it because we got to have the same.
Same length.
But the problem is,
Here's the problem. Come, bring the camera over here, I'll explain this. So when we're done with this project, not we, when Paul's done with this project, I'm just here doing nothing. When Paul's done with this project, it's gonna need to steer, it's gonna need to track, like the axle's gonna have to be located reliably. Dar's gonna beat the heck out of this thing, and we need it to all work while he's doing that. The problem is when you start putting these different linkages in to do things, like this linkage right here is what you steer with. We need a linkage to track, to locate this axle left to right through its suspension cycle. Just kind of start running out of room at this point in the game. And so Paul's carefully measuring.
and it is centered right now.
Oh, nice. But if you look down here, there's just not a lot of room. This track bar has to fit. It has to fit between here and on top of here. So at full stuff, it's not binding on anything, and at full droop, it's not binding on anything. The geometry has to be right, or else the axle does really weird things as it cycles. So if you get the bump steer too bad, and in a crawler type vehicle like this, you can deal with some bump steer as long as we don't have binding and interference. That'll be pretty much good enough. Yep.
Let's hit that with a hammer
Turn it over the
and
other
turn
way.
it over. Oh! I don't think this has been off for a minute.
It probably hasn't.
That's awesome. That thing it's close everywhere, but it fits. That's the important part. Where did I set that other piece? Anyone see which hand I threw it with?
All right.
There it is.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just getting a rough estimate. This thing is 34 3/4 long. So that's how long our bar needs to be as well. So is that a good spot to mount it?
That's about right in the center of the frame.
Are we gonna have enough room to mount it right there?
I think so.
And have it bottom out on the frame basically. And then I'll have to go 1, 2, 3.5 inches out this side with a little curve mount. We could go back that way a little if it helps.
This end is not going to be as much trouble as that end. I don't think changing it's going to change this end a ton on how it is.
Okay.
That's the end I would.
This end's pretty easy because it's going to stick outside the frame.
Okay. Yeah, we got it.
It's going to have to be a piece that's 3 inches. All that just so we can cut one piece of metal.
Unless you want to use a piece of pipe.
I just got some good footage of Matt standing
Well,
like
I'm
Ed
gonna do.
Bassmaster. Well, would you look at that?
This is a very comfortable way to stand, and if people weren't so self-conscious, they would all stand this way. If I was to pass out right
He's
now,
falling
Michelle, I
apart.
wouldn't even fall to the ground because I'm locked in this position.
Have you ever passed out?
No. I've been knocked out. Thanks, Paul.
That was actually super scary, Matt. When your opponent jumps in the cab with you to make sure you haven't died, That's scary. And that was before we even liked you.
It's actually a pretty good ride to get knocked out because, like, when you watch, you're like, oh man, that hurt, but it doesn't. When you get knocked out, you have no idea.
Remember that.
Yep. There's no pain involved with it at all.
The problem is we have 3 different arms that are different. We don't really have anything that's the same. So trying to make steering work with the wrong parts.
Why are we abandoning this one?
Well, because it's got a spacer in it, and we don't have another spacer to put everything the same level. That's the main problem with it. This is a good part if we just had another spacer to get it to the equal height. But lower is going to help us here.
Yeah. Why can't we just abandon this spacer?
Well, we might be able to. I just have to pull it apart and see.
See what's inside of it.
That's probably what we ought to do right at this point in time.
I hate to come up with ideas. I'm starting to feel more at home now.
Yeah, if we had 2 of the same thing, it'd be better. Well, if we had some bolts, we could probably put that back on.
I'm gonna go look for some bolts.
I don't think I have any fine thread.
Run around the store and get some.
Yeah, probably so. I think
How long do they need to be?
2 5/64.
2.5's good.
Do you want to
Yep.
take that?
No, they're
Okay.
just 1/2 inch.
Hey, while you're there, will you get 2 bags of tortilla chips so we can have those for lunch? I'll make taco soup for everybody.
Done it. Done it. Done it. Done it.
So is Ozzy not considered a 80s hair band?
Who's Ozzy?
That's what you were just singing.
Was it?
Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun. I.
That's not super exact, but it's not bad.
What you doing?
I'm just stuff.
So, what we have here, I'm just tapping this so I can put this greaser into this. This is serving 2 purposes. It's a steering arm, a pitman. I think that's what they call it on the wheels. That's what I call it. And then it covers the top kingpin. The grease zerks that I'm using are an 1/8 inch NPT thread. It should be no surprise that I'm going to be tapping with this 1/8 inch NPT thread. Got about enough of that. Good grief, did Jamie throw another shrimp on the Barbie?
Australians don't say that. I found that out in the comments. I don't know why it originated that Australians say that, but apparently they don't say that. They call shrimp prawns. Am I right, Australians?
We're about to find out how good this tap is.
Look how pretty. It's like your trophy.
Oh, look at that. Look at this. Look at that. So the production manager at Horizon Carbide Tools sent these things to us the other day. They're pretty awesome. They're bits for my lathe. That was a sliver. So he sent us these tool holders. I had to machine them a little bit so that they'll fit in my tool holders that go in my lathe, but machined them down. And now I got some pretty sweet carbide cutters. So
That was a surprise to get in the mailbox. We
Yeah,
weren't even
it was
expecting
awesome.
that. So that's super awesome.
thank you, man.
So Dar, while you were gone, Paul pretty much didn't do anything, but I built this.
Built the grease fitting.
Yep, I drilled a hole all the way through it. Tapped it a couple times till we got it right.
That in you.
Thanks, Dar.
You could just, yeah, this type of fabrication, if Paul was here, he'd tell you the same thing. It's not as fast as it looks like it is on YouTube. Although Paul's one of the faster fabricators I've ever seen. If you want to get a job done, Paul will do it.
Yeah.
Except for your Jeep.
Now we'll tighten them down and see. Are these the right ones? Yeah, they are. Nope. Gonna have to put a washer under it.
Shim.
One down, other side now. Okay. Used up. They're go-kart material now.
Gonna keep that all together for
Yeah.
your kids.
Yeah, they'll do something with
The
this.
other,
Do we want it on top or bottom, you think? Probably top. I'm just trying to figure out
what's gonna fit?
if we got enough articulation. We go on top. We can't go on top though. We have to go on the bottom because it hits the frame, right?
I thought it.
bang, because that's not even as high as it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So your option is not doing it or trimming that truss
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Go down a little. Let's see how much trimming. All right, let's see what that does. We'll make it purdy in a minute. I'm gonna have to cut some brace things,
Okay.
but then it's gonna work. You can go back up and I'll finish trimming what I gotta trim. An
I
angle.
got a question.
I got an answer.
If we turn this upside down, the angle would line up better to go.
Yeah, we can take it off and turn it over.
Because then that angle would line up better when it gets drooped out.
Yep, we should be able to do that. You almost got those out.
I almost did. I didn't know they were so long-winded.
What's all them little notches for?
To line up in that little
So that it's
spacer that
straight.
it had before.
Oh,
We're not too worried about them.
there.
You just keep it under like 50, you should be fine if it falls off.
Is this what happens on the holiday?
Oh, yeah.
You grow the beard out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Chill hates it, so I'm just seeing how long I can stand it. I'm not a big fan of them, honestly, but
Mine's out of laziness.
that's kind of what mine's at right now.
Man, this lathe is super handy.
It has been. Today,
Whoa.
I got those built.
Nice.
Now we just gotta figure out center line.
Dude, that's super
I
sweet.
forgot. All right.
So you're lining up the tips. Huh?
Yep, we're just making it so you can cut perfectly what you want to cut.
Look at this guy. Chopped.
So this is getting cut in half right here.
Oh.
So this is not going to be easy.
You guys have it all figured out how you're cutting it in half?
If I don't have to put it back together, I'll cut it in half.
Built.
Are you steering off the backside? Did you switch that around too?
Yep.
Nice.
Won't be anything up here but this.
Gotcha. Cause you were like blowing sparks all over him while he's standing on the ladder.
On the ladder, by the drill, and Paul just showered me in sparks.
I knew you were going to be okay though.
I ended up okay.
It should steer and do all the stuff that one would hope stuff with steering would do. Somewhere I had a tape measuring device right there. Close it is right here.
Oh, it's like so close.
But it turns. That's how I designed it. Alright, Dar, you got steering. It's gonna be so tight, but it's gonna work. Full squish.
What are we hitting right there?
Well, son of a
Beep beep.
And we're an inch and a half from bump stop.
Yeah, that needs to go on the top of that. I'll solve that problem. Let's try that one more time. What did it hit?
I think it just settled in the
Alright.
bracket.
Steer?
Yeah.
It's everywhere? Oh, it's
Oh,
hitting the
it's
tire
hit-
rod.
this is what-
Okay,
this is
we're
what it
fine
hit.
with that. Because that's going away.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to ride height.
Something's binding. Oh, that's on backwards. That's like,
Oh, that's gonna have some effect on the binding.
who done that?
I don't know. A tow guy probably, not a fabricator
When they got a
guy.
fabricator. We're at the ragged edge of bind. We're binding that one for sure.
So we need bigger misalignments on that, is what you're telling me. So that's easy enough. Let's try this.
Probably not enough.
Okay. Let's put it on. Let's see if it steers.
Okay, now go full droop.
That's full droop. Okay, let's build a panhard. It's gonna have to mount right there, which is not a big deal. It can, easy. Let's figure this out. We'll measure how much pipe we need. Well, we're one step closer to cutting this thing in half.
Okay, what are you building this bracket out of?
I'm gonna build it out of flat steel. That's how Matt puts my tools up.
What did I do?
It's not what you did,
That's what you
it's what you didn't do.
All right, it's time for origami, huh?
I'm just going for it.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. You're going to be folding some metal.
It'll be alright, I'll just cut it off. Weld the piece on it that I need.
That'll work.
I know where they're not. No, I had them on my head. Then I took them off my head and I put them in a strategic location where I could possibly never find them again. Found them. They're already getting scratched to where I can't see five of them. Well, now if I happen to have a bolt, giant long bolt. Guess that's gonna be what it is for now. Yeah, you're gonna have to buy some hardware. Okay, one bracket designed. And then we'll figure out where we can mount it right there.
What do you want, Paul? About that much thread showing?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty good. We may end up having to cut those Ori mounts off
Make them taller.
because this bracket that I spend all this time building is not gonna work.
I can see.
See the problem that we have? We'll solve that problem somehow. Where's the closest? Clear that way. Right there.
Yeah.
So if we make it touching that basically right there, I'll have to build a bracket that comes up the side. That's pretty warm still.
Yeah, you might just have to build this bracket out of pieces.
Yep. It looks that way. I can probably use the bracket that I have, just build stuff up to it.
Yeah. Doing so many things backwards here, you'd think this was a Corvair we were working on.
That's full squish, right?
Yep, ready to cycle it?
Nope. That's what I thought.
Oh, it's gonna hit that.
It is. Not gonna work.
Shortened it.
Just gotta piece it in there and make it fit.
On the foot,
We're gonna go down.
so that steering don't hit the
Oh, it's
bolt.
gonna hit it. Everything right here is really, really tight. We'll build some cardboard to show you. Basically, it's just gonna be a hoop mount that comes down. Something like that.
I believe I'm clear over here. You can tack that on and then we can draw the arches. And it's not going to matter if that bracket's twisted either.
No, exactly. And I'm gonna twist it. How you like that?
Nothing rubbing here.
Okay. Maybe.
What are we hitting?
Steering everywhere. Fun. Doesn't look like we're cutting this in half today.
Yeah, I drilled and tapped the thing.
You did. The steering is closer to being done. We have a panhard bar built, we just can't install it.
Can't find a place to put it.
If we slid this back an inch,
Twist that bottom bar in.
man, we've got an inch of motion here.
Yeah.
Are these level enough to go off
Yeah.
from?
The bottom ones are.
It's not gonna get cut in half today?
Less likely all the time.
Your goal's not going to be met.
Let's just say if Paul finds out he has to put 2 panhard bars on this, there's going to be a problem. He's going to lose it.
Are you cold?
I
I said if Paul won't put me to work, I'm gonna have to put my damn quesadilla on.
The coals are cold. I'll put a piece of wood.
Well, this is more fun than a guy can handle.
No
So
breaking
Michelle, on a
wrists.
scale of 1 to 10, things aren't working out right now.
Obviously.
I need that ladder. I wonder how much nicer this is going to be now that I don't have plasma sparks raining down on me.
Probably not very much nicer. That's gonna be perfect. What if we cut this mound off on an angle so that we lost 1/4 of an inch right there?
Yeah.
I think that's what we'll do. I'll take that bolt out, cut that off. Oh yeah. I threatened it with a hammer and it fell off. I still think we need to shorten that top on. So that's roughly right height, right there. Let's try this again. What if we shorten that top one and move this link back
A little bit.
or we could put a bend in it. I had more room than this on my Toyota.
I think one of us, I'm not going to say who it is, but one of us is not very far from a complete come apart, and I could probably push them over the edge. But Paul came up with the idea to slide the brackets back. We're just going to slide the whole axle back about 1 inch, and that should get us the minimum space required to make this panhard bar work. Is that enough?
Yeah, that seems to be good.
I'm just waiting for one of those to go down the back of my neck. Well, we haven't moved the top
We
much.
are at 1.1 degrees.
That ain't enough.
No, it needs a lot more than that.
We put a lot of work into not doing a little bit of work. How are you harvesting this one?
Okay, that should be the end of it right there, so. It'd be nice to just do something one time. I don't know what that'd be like exactly.
Like I said, I've done this so many times I only have to do it a couple times to get it right.
Haha.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
Come on. So close.
Okay. Now I've got to pull this transmission.
Now, we can start over.
Alright, let's start at the very beginning.
So today we're gonna install the panhard bar.
Yeah, today.
Hey.
Hey, he knew you wouldn't be done, but we had to come and see.
Jeez,
Breakfast pizza?
Kicking our
Oh,
butt.
breakfast pizza.
Man. Pizza Master's falling.
We're painters today.
I remember why we didn't do this before.
What? That's gonna hit right there.
This is, I've had more fun.
This is literally how the whole entire day has been going. Your snapshot is the day.
Yep, you've seen what we've accomplished today. We'll have to notch the frame like we planned on. But when this is actually up there, this is going to be over
that
here.
way a little bit because
And it's going to miss it. I think we're about there.
I can hold it there if you want to start drawing pictures.
This project right here has really kicked our butts today. Those are perfect. That's like we actually meant it right there.
Yeah, that but don't break it. Okay. Oh, look at that. Awesome.
So I gotta cut that frame.
Yeah.
I gotta notch both sides of the frame. I'll do that tomorrow. Well, we didn't get nearly as much as we thought we were gonna get done today. But it steers. Almost, I guess. Doesn't have really a drag link or any of the critical components that we need, but it's closer, so it's good enough for today because I'm done.
I'm done too.
Thank you for the help. That was awesome.
Took the fenders off.
No, sometimes just another set of eyes staring at it makes a giant difference.